Hello, how are y'all doing tonight? So, this will be the new flower that I am going to show you how to make and put into the game. And it'll have the influence of the wind, the forest wind, and it'll move a bit. And if I got time, I'll make a particle for it too. So when you run into these things, you'll see like pieces of red rose or something. So, this is just a mesh plane. It's flat. But in order to use the wind in the game to make this move, it's got to be subdivided so that it can, have flexibility. So right now it's just like a piece of cardboard that don't bend. So we'll subdivide it. Let's see how many times. That'll probably be good. And then I'll delete the extra faces that we're not using. Now I could get even more precise. I could cut this if I really wanted to. And then each one of these that you see what I mean? You could do that if you wanted to, if that bothers you, if you don't like all that excess mesh that's not being used. Try not to do all this stuff when I make a tutorial because it's so time consuming. It's pretty boring stuff watching, I know. So this will give us a little flexibility. I'm thinking maybe I subdivide it one more time. Well, I don't know what the hell now the deal is. Damn arm's been damn twitching. No, hell no, that's all fucked up. We're not gonna do it. We'll just leave it. So since this is flat, you'll be able to see it on the back side if you have it set up for double-sided. What we're going to add now is another mesh plane. This one will be for the actual. This one will be for the actual rose part. So rotate that around. Now, while that would work, you could, use that. It's not going to be good because it's going to be flat, unless you're using it as a ground cover. And then in that case, you could use it because it would show you the same side no matter what direction you're facing. It would always show you the same thing. Turn this proportion editing on so I can move this out a bit. fix the UVs. Alright. Damn it. Alright, we're not going to use them faces over there. We'll get rid of them. Maybe that one too. And that's it. So this has a little bit of a contour to it. Kind of helps it not look flat. Then what I'll do is put that on the other side as well. Round it off just a bit more. Yeah, that'll be alright. Well, what about that? No one's going to pay attention to that. And if they do, then, well, I guess they do. I wouldn't worry about it. It ain't like you're making this rose for GTA 6 and, you know, your job depends on it and all that stuff. Nah. So, I do try to make things, I do try to spend the extra time to make things look a lot better when I got the time to do it. But most of the time, I don't have the time. So I kind of half-ass everything. Right, alright. I guess we can move the bottom in a bit. It is kind of obvious, ain't it? So we'll just... If you want to adjust the proportion editing, you can hit the page up and page down key, and that'll show you the area of influence. Right? What the hell, that damn shit? How'd that happen? Alright. Yeah, that'll be good. Now, we'll make a few leaves. I only gotta make one, then I can duplicate it. No, there we go. Go ahead and subdivide it. Alright, I think that might be fine. Now let's do the top, and then we'll be done with this for the most part. I guess that'll be alright. Alright, so now let's join everything together. So it's one thing, not all these different pieces. Alright, now we got a joined red rose. We can now do the vertex paint. So we'll kind of put this where we want it to spawn. I'll apply all transforms and go to, with the item selected, go to vertex paint. Now to see the vertex paint, you got to change it back to this solid shading. So think about red. Red is like a tree trunk. You know, it's heavy. It kind of doesn't move like leaves would. They're more rigid. So the stalk or the stem to the rose will be red, and then the leaves will be a combination of blue and green. Blue and green are like the leaves. To not only affect front faces. That can be a little frustrating to select what you want to select and not everything else. If you need to, get up closer. It's alright if I leave a little red in there. Alright, so now there is some variety. Oh, forgot about this. vertex painting's done, we can shade smooth, and we will export it to that folder as DAE. Now, since it's in its own folder, the game will make the first texture. If you change it after the fact, then you got to manually edit it. You're not just limited to one. If you were making a lot of stuff at different textures, you could put all of it, as long as it's the same object, sharing different materials, and you can have all the other materials in there also. But not if you're going to export different things, like, say, a house, and then export, like, a tree. You know, you'd have to put them in separate folders. That is the way I understand it. So now we can load the game and look at our rows, see how it looks. We'll have to adjust the alpha clip so that it removes what is supposed to be invisible. Like I said, you got to do a little bit to the texture also, because it's not by default. Don't be double-sided. So in the lighting, turn on anisotropic filtering, and in advanced, go to alpha clip, tell it to be double-sided, and then adjust the alpha clip so that you get most of the background and not too much of the actual object, because you can easily do too much or too little, but this is pretty good. I did a good job erasing that background. So you see, it's kind of 3D. You know, it's got a little bit of variety to it. It's not perfectly flat. I don't even know how many polygons it is. I'm going to make a reduced poly count version also. That will be a lot, but I'll do that later. I ain't going to do that now. It takes more time. Let's go to the forest tools. Let's create a new brush. We'll name this brush Red Rose, and we can add an element to that. If you don't press enter, it does not save it. Now we need to go to the meshes. In the mesh, create a new mesh. And we'll go to the levels. To this level. Select the DAE. Now that that's made, go back to brushes, go to the element, and in the inspector window. Oh, not the inspector, where my bad. Ah, damn, my mind just went out the window. Yeah, the inspector. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So you put the mesh that you just created in there, and it should, you know, start to paint. Now the settings for the games already got settings for bushes and things. That's what we're going to use. I definitely can't make something move better than they can as far as getting all this stuff to do right. So we'll put this here and we'll copy that over. So in the mesh, where you made the mesh, go back to red rows. And then adjust it to match this. Now radius I'll make smaller in that so you can have more clumped together closer. So I'll do like 0.2. And everything else will just be an exact copy. I think that's a tree and that's the bush. See, I got different settings. Alright, let's save the game. Now let's try to paint this thing. See what we get. Well, that's kind of crazy, ain't it? Back to the vertex paint. I'm just going to make it all solid red. The problem is I'm trying to pick things and not pick other things, and I'm like missing things. So if it's white, if it doesn't have any color, it's going to be 100% move any way it can. So black does not move at all. So this is one of those things you kind of got to experiment with to see what works best for what you made. Now I could separate all this stuff and make it separate and reattach it again. If I needed to, I could do that. Alright, let's re-export. That's much better. I think I'll make some of it blue. I think that's fine. What do y'all think? I think it's alright, huh? Yeah, I think it's alright. So you can add variety to this also when it's making them. You can say some be actually in the brush element. You can say some be 2 times the size they are and some be just 1 time. That's what we're about to do. Some big ass rows there. Alright, now that we got this, I thought some of these you could rotate. I don't know if I was thinking you had that in here where it would randomly rotate. Yeah, rotation range. Well, it is already a 360. Well, it'll be alright. So now let's make a collision mesh for this. Let's make sure we saved our material. saved yet. Alright, now let's do the collision mesh and the low LOD level of detail. So back to Blender. We'll duplicate this. Duplicate it twice. The first one will be underscore A300. The next one will be 200. Gotta have a little lowercase a in there for it to work. And the other one will be 100. That's the distance where each one changes to the next one, pretty much. Now we need to add 2 of these empties here. Just plain axis. These are basically like a folder. And you name one of them base 0, 0, and the other one you name start 0, 1. Hold shift and move start in the base, open up base, and then pick these 3 and put them in the start. Now one of these you need to make a collision mesh for, so I'll just make a new mesh plane. That'll just serve as the entire thing's collision mesh. And it'll have a ground model that's more suited also. Alright. Fine. So we'll name this COL dash MESH. Wait. I'm sorry. COL MESH for collision mesh dash 1. And then move this into start. So it's like this. Now we'll do another apply all transforms. And since that is a collision mesh, you're not going to have to worry about seeing it. Now let's export this back to the game, overwrite the other one. So now when I get close, it should change level of detail. When I get farther away, it should change level of detail. However, it's not changing level of detail because I forgot to decimate it. So go to like the 200, just only show it, and then go to this little wrench and add a modifier, and in generate, you'll see a decimate. Alright, now this is where you adjust the amount of polys it's got. So it's 97 polys to begin with, or faces. You want to reduce it as much as you can, but not too much. The idea is that when each one changes to the next one, that you don't see the change because it's pretty seamless. Like, it's not too much of a drastic change in between each step. Now the one that's the farthest away when it's drawn, this one here, I think that's pretty good, 11 faces. And you may say, yeah, well, 90-something faces ain't that many. No, it's not, but when you paint a bunch of them things on the ground, like a lot of them, it all adds up quick. So let's re-export again. Now, let's see if our LODs work. Yep, appears they do. You can always what was I gonna say? That's distracting me right there. That one rogue leaf is just doing its own thing, it looks like. Guess it'll be alright. Don't worry about it. Alright, let's just import this in as a DAE, just so it's not a forest item, and we can just go to the object editor window. Now in the inspector in the open in shape editor. Now this, you can tell it to force detail, and as you go between each one, it should show you the level of poly as it is. So yeah, I mean, it's working correctly. Alright, now the collision mesh. You don't want to run into it and it be like a wall. So what I did is I made a collision mesh for like water. It's not really water. It's just basically no volume to it at all. It doesn't stop the car. So in the material and the additional info and ground type, we'll assign that water. Now if anybody needs to know how to do that, let me know. Now what should happen is you're going to see the same thing that you see when you drive over the you'll see the same thing you see when you drive into the yellow things, yellow weeds. Put some out here. Yep, that's a lot. So when you run into those, you see the new particle. Now since I'm using the same ground model for the red rose, you're going to see the same thing. You should see the exact same thing. But I'll have to make another one for it. Let me get rid of the yellow things. graphic for that. It's still using the same. Now I could easily just change that, just temporarily, just to show you what it'll look like with something different. But I'll need another image that is not got them in it. Or, I mean, it depends on what you want to have break off. If you want the whole thing to break off, then it just needs to be that. Or just the ends of it, you know, would be those. Or the leaves. So, we need to crop it 1:1. Let's change the scale to 2048 by 2048. Alright, we'll export this, and it can go into wherever you want to put it. I'll just put it in here. No, sorry, it can't go there. This goes into the Art, Shapes, Particles folder. That's not in your level. Which that's not here either. You got to put it there. If you need more instruction about all that, let me know. So now we can go to the particle. That's the yellow things. I have to find out which one it is again. I don't remember. Make sure you're looking where there's nothing, so when it does draw the preview, you'll be able to see it. Alright, so that's the limbs. That's just some other smoke I was messing with. And what's that one? That one's nothing. That's glass. The other way. That's the wood. Like tree, bark, tree, trunk. Alright, there we go. Number 99. So, particle will reload in the particle. Pretty cool. I think that probably will be good. And you can fine tune it more if you want to. But I think that's alright for now. Let's save our edited particle. Let's see what we get. so they're not so big. And now sometimes you don't see any of them. Yeah, alright, I think that's it. I'm gonna go back and make different particles fit together.